Guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another match day vlog here in the beautiful city of Madrid. Yeah, no guys, this is not a match day vlog. This is a World Cup prediction video. Today I am predicting the World Cup tournament that is about to start. We are officially 48 hours away from the kickoff of Mexico, South Africa, and I am super excited for this tournament, even though I'm not as excited for this World Cup as I have in previous years. And the reasoning for that is because I am not really liking the new format. I am not really liking the expansion of 32 teams to 48 teams, because I just feel like the World Cup was such a perfect tournament. It didn't need it to be fixed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But they did, and I'm a little worried that it's going to be a little bit watered down. I also don't think that the US has the culture for it, but hey, this is a World Cup. I think it's going to be special. We're still going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be reacting live throughout the entire tournament. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy my predictions, and as always, if you don't agree with my predictions, brother, you don't know ball. I'm just kidding, guys. Enough chitter chatter. Let's get started. So Group A, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, Czech Republic. Now this is exactly what I mean when I say that the World Cup is completely watered down. But enough of the complaining. I'm gonna go with the Czech Republic as number one in the group. Now the second place team is where the debate really comes in, because Mexico are hosts, and when Mexico play in World Cups, I feel like they go into the tournament with the right mentality. They're very motivated, they're very proud to play for their own country, but they just don't have a good team. So I find it really hard to see Mexico doing a good job in this World Cup, but I think that they will do enough to qualify to the next round. I think that they will do it as a third place team. I think that they will beat South Africa in the opener, but I'm gonna go with South Korea second, Mexico third, South Africa fourth, and then Group B, another watered down group. Now Canada is going to be pretty interesting. I'm gonna go with Switzerland because I think it's the logical thing to do. I'm gonna go with Bosnia second. I think that you need to keep in mind that they knocked out Italy out of the World Cup. Now you can complain about how Italy have been poor, whatever you want. They won the 2021 Euros. So I do think that Bosnia are not gonna do anything special in this World Cup, but I do think that they're gonna make it out of this group. I'm gonna go with Canada third because I don't think Qatar are good at all, and Canada do have home court advantage. Again, I think that they will make it out. We'll get to the third place rankings later, but this brings us to Group C. Now Group C is kind of tough because I think Morocco could definitely win the group. I think Scotland are low-key kind of good because, guys, McTominay is kind of saucy. But I think I'm going to go with my bias here. I'm going to go for Ancelotti FC Brazil. I'm going to go with Morocco second. I think it's a logical thing to do. Scotland third to top off Group C. Group D. Now, dude, I've been talking a lot about the hosts. I think the States are going to be so disappointing in this World Cup. And my logic is simple, guys. You need to understand that this is a nation that just doesn't really give a shit about the sport. And it shows in their level, man. I'm going to go with Turkey, Arda Güler to top the group. Now, I think people think Paraguay is not a good team. People think that Paraguay is a North American team. Paraguay were quarterfinalists in the 2010 World Cup. In 2011, they went to the Copa America final. They are pretty intense to play against in the South American qualifiers. I can tell you that. I am Colombian. I see a lot of Americans thinking that they have an easy group. Compared to the other two hosts, you have the toughest group out of the three. So I am going to go with Paraguay second, and I'm going to go with United States. No, I'm going to go with Australia third. I'm telling you guys, I think there's a lot more pressure on the United States than there is on Mexico and Canada, and I think they're going to completely shit the bed. So I have the United States losing, finishing bottom of the group, and we move on to Group E. Now this is a tough one because I don't think people realize how good Ecuador is. Like, I think Germany are really going to struggle in this group, and Ivory Coast just beat, wait, who was it that they beat? This is the best Ecuadorian team I think I've ever seen. They have Hincapié, they have Pacho, they have Caicedo, who in my opinion is the best CDM in the world currently. So I'm gonna go with Ecuador topping the group, Germany second. I think Ivory Coast could stun the world, but I'm gonna go with the logic here. I'm gonna go with Ivory Coast as third. Now Group F, this is a pretty tough group in my opinion. I think it's pretty even. I think the Netherlands will top it, but be careful with Japan. I think Japan are gonna finish second, Sweden are gonna be third, and we move on to Group G. Now Belgium tops it. I think this is pretty straightforward. Egypt, I don't think that either Iran or New Zealand are gonna make it out of this group, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about the third place teams in a second. Now Group H, this is pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go with Spain as first, Uruguay second, Saudi Arabia third, Cape Verde lose the group. Group I. Bro, this is a tough one. This is a tough group, man. This is really complicated for France. Like, but when you look at how Elise is playing, and when you look at that team that they have with Ballon d'Or Dembele, Kylian Mbappe, they have Cherki, they have Doué, they're just so star-studded that they are going to be scoring goals. But I do think that they're a little shaky at the back, so I think that they're also going to be conceding goals. I expect a lot of fireworks from this group. I'm gonna go with France, top of the group. Now, this is complicated to pick the second because Senegal are currently the AFCON champions, which I know that there's a lot of dispute regarding whether they're going to give it to Morocco or not. But I think Senegal are going to be really tough. But I also think that Norway are dark horse contenders. So I'm going to go with Norway as second, Senegal third. The two of them make it out of the group. We'll talk about that in a second. And that leaves us with Argentina, Algeria, Austria, Jordan. Yo, can you guys stop helping Argentina, bro? Like... Every World Cup, they get the easiest group. Every World Cup, they get refereeing help. Bro, come on, dog. So I'm going to go with Argentina first. Now, this is a little complicated, but I think Austria are going to go second, Algeria third, Jordan lose the group. And that leaves us with Group K. Now, parceros, trust me, yo no estaba contento cuando le tocó Cristiano a Colombia, weón. No, parce, no. But I'm going to go with the logical thing to do here, which is Portugal first, because I do think that Colombia have a solid team, but I'm a little worried about James Rodriguez. Because I think that he's going to be a starter in the team solely off of name. I don't think he is at the level that he was 2 years ago. But Luis Diaz is an unstoppable level, man. Luis Diaz is honestly arguably top 5 winger in the world currently, especially in terms of form. If you want to talk about potential and hype up Lamine Yamal, be my guest, but do it in another channel. This is not the channel to do it. I'm going to go with Colombia second. I think this is pretty obvious. Uzbekistan third. DR Congo fourth, and that leaves us with England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama, Group L. Now, people might be surprised, but I think this is going to be the tightest group here. I think England are going to go first, but I wouldn't be surprised if England, Croatia, and Ghana all finish with 5 points, because Ghana are a historically really good World Cup team, and I think that they have a pretty sneaky team. People are kind of sleeping on them. I'm going to go with Croatia second, Ghana third. That brings us to the third place teams. Now, I'm pretty sure that I need to pick these in order of how I want them to be ranked in terms of best third place team and last third place team. I'm gonna go with Senegal top because I think that they are the AFCON champions. I think they are playing in a really tough group. That's why they finished as third place. Now I'm gonna go with Ghana as second. I think this is what makes the most sense. Dude, actually, I'm gonna switch this and hear me out. I think Senegal are a better team than Ghana. Obviously, they just won the AFCON. They won the tournament that they both played in. But Senegal have such a tough group, and you also need to take into account that goal differential, and not just goal differential, points are going to play a role in how these teams are ranked. So I think Ghana has a little bit more accessibility to go as the top third seed team. So I'm gonna change my answer actually. I'm gonna change my answer. I am not going to pick. I'm gonna do it like this. So Ghana's gonna go first. Senegal is gonna go second. African teams are gonna have an advantage over most teams too, because I think the weather in the United States, if you're anywhere in this part of the world, you know it's really fucking hot right now. So Ivory Coast is gonna go third. I'm gonna go with Sweden. Then I'm gonna go with Mexico. Then I'm gonna go with Scotland. Then I have already 6 teams. I need 2 more teams. I'm going to pick Canada because I think that they have a pretty easy group. They have home court advantage, so I think it's pretty fair to say that they might be going through to the next round compared to the other teams. And that leaves us with 1 spot left. Now, man, I have to go with the African team, and I have to go with Algeria. So that brings us to the bracket. And this is, guys, where it gets interesting. This is my favorite part of the predictor. First round of 32 match, Ecuador, Scotland. I'm going to go with Ecuador. I already said it before. I think Ecuador is going to be a dark horse candidate in this tournament. We got France, Sweden. I'm gonna go with France. I don't think Sweden are good enough to beat the French, especially with the squad that they have. I mean, South Korea, Bosnia. Now I think this is something that could go to penalties. I could definitely see this going to penalties and Bosnia winning it, so I'm gonna go with Bosnia on this one, but I think it's pretty 50-50, but I'm gonna go with Bosnia. Netherlands, Morocco. Now this is a tricky one, bro. This is a tricky one because I think the Netherlands have a sneaky team, but I think that they also lack a good coach. I don't think that Ronald Koeman is a good coach. I think he's failed in every single team that he's coached throughout his career, specifically Barca. You might remember him from his Barca days. I'm gonna, the thing is, dude, this is really this is going to be a really good game, and it's going to be pretty 50-50, but not like South Korea and Bosnia. This is actually going to be entertaining. I could totally see this game finishing as like a 2-2 scoreline and then Morocco winning in penalties. I'm going to go with Morocco on this one. Now, Brazil, Japan. Speaking of penalties, I just spoke about back-to-back games going to penalties. I think this one goes to penalties too, guys. You need to understand that this is Japan's golden generation. They are calling it the best Japan team ever. I think that they're going to stun the world in this World Cup, but I don't think that they will beat Brazil. I think that they will take them to penalties, but my bias is going to go with Ancelotti making it to the next round, so I'm going to pick Brazil here. I think that this is also going to be an upset. I'm going to go with the dark horse candidate, Norway beating Germany, because I think Germany are going to struggle. I'm going to go with Norway here, and that leaves us with the Czech Republic, Ivory Coast. I'm going to go with Ivory Coast, guys. I'm telling you, I think African teams are going to have an advantage over European teams, specifically in these scenarios because of the weather. That's also kind of the logic that I applied to the Morocco upset over the Netherlands. I'm going to go with Ivory Coast on this one. And that leaves us with England versus Senegal. Now, I have a lot of hope. I know what I just said about the weather, but I have a lot of hope for Thomas Tuchel with this team. Because if we're being real, guys, this team is actually super star-studded. I think this is arguably the fourth most star-studded team in this World Cup. You got Spain, France, and Portugal leading the way, but England are going to be there. And honestly, I think that they're pretty sneaky. I think depending on how this bracket goes, I think I might have them winning it, but let's just see how it goes. I'm gonna go with England here. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it in extra time or in penalties. You know how England does things in international tournaments. And that brings us to Colombia, tu papá, parceros. Yo no puedo escoger a Croacia encima de Colombia. I'm gonna go with Colombia on this one. I know Croatia just beat Colombia. I know that they just beat Colombia, but I also think that Luis Diaz is gonna kill it. And again, Colombia is used to playing in really intense hot weather. Playing in Barranquilla during the qualifiers is one of the toughest seeds, but trust me, even though I am biased in this situation, I do think that Colombia will beat Croatia in this tournament. Now that leaves us with Spain and Austria. I think this is pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go with Spain. Turkey, Canada. I'm gonna go with Turkey. Arda Güler. Belgium, Mexico. I think Belgium are gonna take this one. I don't think people realize that Belgium have kind of a solid team. It's not as good as it's been in the last couple of years, but Belgium have a pretty solid base to a team, bro. Kevin De Bruyne is not playing at a bad level. They have Jeremy Doku playing as a left wing, and they have the best goalkeeper in the world, so I can definitely see them going far if the bracket is easy enough for them. Well, I guess we'll get to that in a second. Argentina, Uruguay. Now, I think this is going to be a really tough match for Argentina. Now, Bielsa, the coach of Uruguay, is currently kind of at odds with the players. Like, he's had a lot of rifts with the players that are currently in the Uruguayan squad, and I think that because of that reason, I think Uruguay, unfortunately, are not going to have that good of a World Cup. I think that Argentina are going to knock them out in this round, which leaves us with Paraguay versus Egypt. Now, I think Paraguay are getting slept on. I'm going to stand by what I said in the group stage. Paraguay go through to the next round. Switzerland, Algeria. Now, this is also an interesting one, man. I'm going to go with Switzerland. That's just, to me, it's the more logical thing. I don't know enough about both teams to give you a really good answer here, so I'm going to go with Switzerland just out of logic. And Portugal, Ghana. As much as I have been eggplant riding Ghana in these last couple of minutes, I am going to go with Portugal in this. Portugal arguably has the best team in this World Cup. Ecuador, France. Now, this is something that if Ecuador ends up knocking out France, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if this happened, bro. I think Ecuador are sneaky. Ecuador are going to cause a lot of problems in this World Cup, but I have to go with France, man. I am also half French, so you can say that this is a little bit biased, but I think that France just have too good of an attack. I'm going to go with France beating Ecuador in the round of 16. Bosnia versus Morocco. I'm going to go with Morocco on this one. I think Morocco is a significantly better team. Brazil, Norway. Now, this is a really tough one, man. I'm going to go with Norway in this one, bro. I think Norway knock out Brazil. The first upset of the round of 16 for me. Ivory Coast, England. As much as I think Ivory Coast are a sneaky team, I think England are going to overpower them. That leaves us with Colombia versus Spain. I'm gonna do it, bro. I think Spain are way too overhyped right now. I think this is a really hot take. I know you can roast me in the comments all you want, but I am gonna go with Colombia. If Colombia can figure out that James is not it anymore, that James should not be playing enough, I think Colombia could cause a lot of troubles in this World Cup, especially if Lucho Diaz plays the way that he's been playing throughout the entirety of the season. And I think the weather is going to play a huge role in how Colombia advanced. They showed how good they were in the summer of 2024 playing in the United States during the Copa America. So I'm going to go with Colombia beating Spain. Oh my God, I'm going to get a lot of hate for that one. Turkey, Belgium. Now, this is a really tough one to predict, man. This is not one that I like to predict because Turkey and Belgium are... This is tough, man. This is actually really tough. I want to go with Turkey. I want to go with Turkey because I love Arda Güler and I think Yildiz is nasty. But Thibaut Courtois. I could totally see this game going to penalties and Courtois saving the day, sending Belgium into the quarters of the... Do I really want to do that? Yeah, man, I'm going to go with Belgium winning on penalties in this one. I'm sorry to my Turkish fans. I am rooting for Turkey. I will be rooting for Turkey against Belgium if this happens. I am going to be rooting for Turkey in the entire tournament unless you play against Colombia, my boy Cristiano Ronaldo, or my boy Kylian Mbappe in France because I'm also half French. My grandpa's Portuguese, by the way, so I'm not just a Ronaldo fan here. Argentina, Paraguay. I'm going to go with Argentina, even though I think Paraguay are sneaky. I think Argentina are going to overpower them, and it's going to set up a game of the ages. Portugal versus Argentina, because I think Portugal are definitely going to outpower Switzerland. France, Morocco. Now, this is a rematch of the 2022... Was it semis? Yes, it was semis. It was supposed to be Portugal, France, and they eventually ended up playing against Morocco because Morocco ended up upsetting Portugal. Dude, I think Morocco a really sneaky team, but I think maybe Guys, am I too high on Morocco? Please let me know in the comments if you think that I'm too high on Morocco. I don't think that they'll beat France, man. I think France are going to overpower them. I think France are going to figure it out in terms team-wise. I think they're going to figure it out. I'm going to go with France on this one, knocking on Morocco. Now, Colombia versus Belgium. Now, knowing Colombia, knowing my PTSD, the worst nights of my life, I am 100% convinced that Colombia will not lose any other way, shape, or form that's not in penalties. So if you were to tell me who's going to win in penalties between Colombia and Belgium, Belgium's going through, man. Courtois is too good, and Colombia just doesn't know how to take penalties. Norway versus England. Now this is gonna be a tough one, man, because I still think that Norway are going to be dark horse candidates, but I don't think that they're gonna overpower England, man. England are way too stacked. They're way too stacked. I'm gonna go with England on this one. Argentina versus Portugal. Listen, call me biased, say whatever you want. I don't think Argentina are as good as they were in their last World Cup. You can say that their generation of young players that led them to a World Cup win have grown up, that they're a lot more mature, that they can go on to stun the world once again. But I don't think that they are as good as they were last time. The way that Messi played in the 2022 World Cup, I don't think they're going to have a player that's going to literally put the team on their back whenever they need it. And when you look at Portugal's team, man, I stand by what I said. I think Portugal have the best team in the world right now. They are better than Spain. People think that Spain are going to do it because Lamine Yamal is way overhyped, because Spain is way overhyped. They won the Euros, so now everybody thinks that they're going to do it again. I think Spain are in for a rough awakening. Not to mention that Lamine Yamal has also been injured for the last 2 months. I'm gonna be Cholo. You see it on the wall. I think it's also logical to pick Portugal in this one. I'm gonna go with Portugal. Ronaldo's last dance continues into the semifinals, and this is where it's gonna get interesting and potentially very sad for myself. France versus Belgium. This is a rematch of the 2018 World Cup finals, which I actually went to, guys. I went to both. I went to the semifinal in Moscow between England and Croatia, which should have been Colombia and Croatia, but we got robbed. And we got the semifinal between France and Belgium, which was honestly a pretty entertaining game for the score that it had. That was the best version of Eden Hazard that you've ever seen, for sure. And Kylian Mbappe back then was just... Yeah, guys, I'm gonna go with France in this one. I'm gonna go with France in this one. Like, I am pretty surprised that I have Belgium in the semifinals, but I think that the road to the semifinals has been pretty easy. I think that the fact that I had Colombia beating Spain really did help in this one, and I definitely think that Turkey could be the team in here instead of Belgium, which honestly, I hope that's the case. I would love to see that, but I think Belgium are going to cook. So I'm gonna go with France on this one. France reach a third final in a row. They are, in my opinion, the new Brazil. I think that in terms of dominance, in terms of how good that they're gonna be in World Cups, I expect them to be making semifinals after semifinals after semifinals, unless some crazy upset happens. I think France are gonna make their third final in a row, which is well, I'm half French, right? It's pretty cool. And that leaves us with what I think is going to be a heartbreaking game for me, because again, I think Tuchel is somebody that people are sleeping on. I think England is getting slept on, and something that I haven't mentioned in this video, I think Harry Kane is the best player in the world. I think Harry Kane is currently the best player in the world. I think that he is unstoppable. I think you could make an argument for, in terms of form, Michael Olise. I know that he just scored a crazy hat-trick against Georgia, so I understand if you think that he is currently the best player in the world, but I think Harry Kane is unstoppable. And he's actually a big reason why Lucho Diaz and Michael Olise are able to cook that the way they do, because defenders really have to worry about the presence of a striker like that, which is what I've been saying about Real Madrid. They need a striker presence so that Mbappe and Vinny can cook better than they have, but it is what it is, man. Guys, I really hope that Portugal wins this World Cup. I am rooting for Portugal. I am gonna cry if they don't. I am gonna cry if they do. But I am telling you right now, I think England are gonna go through the final, and it's going to set up a third place match between Belgium and Portugal and a final between France and England. Now, the third place match, don't really care. Seeing Portugal here makes me really sad, but I'm going to go with Portugal. I don't think Belgium are better than Portugal. Portugal will have their, they will tie their best ever World Cup finish from the 1966 World Cup with Eusebio, which, if you remember, it's the World Cup in which England won. And I think history is repeating itself. I think this is the year, guys, where football is actually coming home. It's not going to be a song anymore. It's going to be a fact. I think this is the year that an England squad that has lost 2 Euro Cup finals, they have the experience of going through an entire tournament and reaching the final. I think at the level that Harry Kane is, I think that with the coaching of Thomas Tuchel, I think that if Jude Bellingham can play at his best level, I think England are going to win it, man, because I think that they're going to be a better team than France. France might be better on paper, but I think that they're going to be a better team than France. This pains me because I really want to be clicking Portugal to win the World Cup, but I'm going to have England winning this tournament. And there you have it, guys. This is my World Cup 2026 World Cup predictions. I have England taking it home. Football is coming home 2026. France as second, Portugal as third, and then Belgium as fourth, which I am a little iffy about Belgium making it all the way there. But when you look at the road to the final from my bracket, I think it makes sense that I had them. Well, to a certain extent, but again, if you want to roast me in the comments, go ahead. Now, real quick, guys, I always like to make some player predictions. I think that the golden ball, tournament MVP, Ballon d'Or, golden ball, whatever it is that you want to call it, I'm going to go with Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane is going to have an incredible World Cup. You need to understand that Harry Kane is the closest thing that we have in today's elite football game as prime Karim Benzema. That is how good Harry Kane is. He is the only player that has similar qualities, because Harry Kane is not just goal scorer. No, Harry Kane led the Premier League in assists when he played in the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur. So I think people need to wake up a little bit about Harry Kane. If he had Barca PR behind him, I can't even imagine how loud Barca fans would be about this guy. But Harry Kane is going to be my best player of the tournament. I don't think that he's going to be the top goal scorer. Now, you might think that makes no sense because he's a striker, but I'm telling you, Harry Kane is going to lead this World Cup in assists, and he is going to be really close to Mbappe in goals, but I think Mbappe is my runner. No. He is going to be my golden boot. I think Mbappe is going to clinch a back-to-back golden boot performance, leading France to the final and eventually losing to England, which is going to be really interesting how that plays out with Jude Bellingham, because they are totally beefing. I don't care what you tell me, they're beefing. But then again, based on my top 4, I'm going to go with Thibaut Courtois with the golden glove. I think that he is going to be the reason why Belgium make it this far if the bracket plays out the way that I said it's going to play out. Again, I don't think everything is going to be perfect, but these are my predictions, so I'm going to go with Thibaut Courtois as the golden glove winner. And then you have the golden boy, which the golden boy is an award that you don't necessarily need to go very far in the tournament to win the award. You also have to keep in mind that there's an extra game in this World Cup. So I'm gonna go with, dude, I could totally pick Lamine Yamal. He is so overvalued, guys. He is arguably the player in the world right now that has the highest potential. I don't deny it. He is a crack. He is a beast. He is so overvalued, bro. Look at what Michael Olise is doing. Nobody's yapping half as hard as they yap about Lamine Yamal. If Endrick plays the way that he's been playing as an impact sub, I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to him. But if I had to pick one of them, I'm gonna go with Lamine, because I mean, Barca PR is a real thing. I mean, like. But yeah, guys, that concludes my 2026 World Cup predictions. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the thumbs up button and hit the hype button to help me out. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be reacting live here in this very spot for most of the World Cup. I am also going to be bringing you guys a lot of these kind of videos because we kind of have to figure out what we're going to do. And I think I am going to go to a World Cup game in Kansas, which would be the winner of the Colombia-Portugal group. So as much as I want to watch my country play, I would love to see Ronaldo in his last dance. I think that's what you guys want to see see too. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my content. And guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think of my predictions? If you think I don't know ball, well, let me know. If you think you know more ball than me, then let me know your predictions. And yeah, I guess that does it, guys.